Every day I'm hustling, 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 I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling, I'm hustling.
Look, I'm trying not to get copyright strike, y'all. I try not to get copyright strike. That's why I keep stopping it. But I know y'all already know that. Okay? Look, y'all. Your girl is out here hustling. Okay? So, as y'all already know, me and my family are getting ready to move, okay? We are a military family, so it's around that time. It's around that season. We getting ready to do another PCS move, okay? The movers are supposed to be here on the 21st. Today is the 17th, and I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, already have some pre-recorded videos pumped out to y'all. So your girl is I'm back to pre-recording my videos. So I am going to be recording all of my weeks, all 5 of my videos for the whole week in one night, okay? Yeah, unless it's like on a Friday, like, or a video that is usually like I know, depending on the topic I'm talking about, and I know it's gonna run for a minute, like a real long yap session, because your girl be yapping, then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna have to push that one, to the next day. But anyways, I'm out here hustling. I'm out here hustling, okay? So let me go ahead and put the disclaimer out there. Whatever shirt that I'm wearing when I sit down to record the first video, that's the shirt y'all gonna be seeing for the whole week, okay? It's still the same day, y'all. I'm just recording all the videos in one day, okay? So, because I don't need y'all out here thinking I'm a little dust bucket or something, because it's not that. It's never that, So I got to go ahead and put the little disclaimer out there. Okay? All right? I'm just out here, pushing out them videos, putting in the work. That's all. But yeah, that's it. Y'all know I'm a family woman too now, so the family comes first. All right, as much as I love doing these videos and coming over here kicking it with y'all, so yeah, that's just even better for my schedule as well too. Like I said, just recording all the videos in 1 to 2 nights or whatever over the weekend. Once my family is in bed, everybody sleep, knocked out, don't need nothing else from me. But I'm yapping now. I know. Anyways, today's video is about when the villain has a point. And I already told y'all that. The older I get, you know what I'm saying? The more I step outside of the world is not all cookies and rainbows and lollipops, which I've kind of already known this even as a child. But y'all know, like, it becomes even more prevalent. As you become an adult, I be like, yeah, the villains they got a point though. They really standing on business. You know what I'm saying? Like that business that a lot of people out here talking about they standing on, but they not really standing on it. The villains be having a point. And low key, I think I would be a villain in an anime show. Cause I be about the principles and the principalities, okay? I'm sick of the bullshit. When is enough? Anyways, let's get into the video.
I will create a world that knows true peace. The world is rotten, and those who are making it rot should disappear. I only want to create a world where the strong no longer prey on the weak. What if I told you that none of these words were spoken by heroes, but by villains? How does that make sense? As kids, we're taught that villains are wrong. They want to hurt people, destroy the world, or become powerful enough to conquer it. Villains are the ones the hero has to stop because the hero is good, and the villain is evil. But the older we get, the more we realize that truth isn't always that simple.
I told you.
We can't help but be drawn to the villain, to understand them. And sometimes, as we watch these stories unfold, we might even ask ourselves, what if the villain isn't trying to destroy the world, but fix it? What if the villains are the ones fighting for change because the heroes won't? What if their wrath isn't the problem, but a reaction to a world that keeps ignoring them? What if maybe, just maybe, the villain was right?
What happened to the music? Was there some music on this? It seemed like it should have been some
Anime
music.
and manga has some amazing examples of this, but the one I'd like to start with is Naruto. A world built on graves. A world where people are raised to fight from the moment they're born and to die for villages they barely understand. A world where great nations don't fight their wars on their own turf, but in small neighboring countries that they turn into war zones. And when
Oh, wait a minute now. We talking about an anime show, real life. Cough, cough.
the fighting's done, they leave, they go home,
Let me stop.
declare victory, and move on with their lives. But the people in those small nations, they have to suffer the consequences. Nagato is a character shaped by this world. He's an orphan from the Hidden Rain Village, a small nation stuck between the great ninja powers. As a kid, he watches people break into his home and slay his parents, who weren't even fighters. Nagato
crazy.
gets left to starve in a nation that nobody cares about until he meets Yahiko and Konan. And together, they survive. They dream of peace. They train under Jiraiya, who teaches them that understanding between people could
How many of y'all did that when they killed Jiraiya?
break this cycle of hatred.
Pour one
Together,
out for Jiraiya.
they form an alliance that fought for peace, the Akatsuki. But then, as is always the case, the great nation schemed to get rid of them, and Nagato was forced to watch his best friend die, forced to kill him with his own hand.
You and Conan survive no
Insane.
matter what.
That was
And that's
so
when he
crazy.
understood. The ninja world is stuck in a cycle of hatred. Each nation builds up military power to protect itself from other nations. But that military buildup makes other nations feel threatened. So they build up their own forces in response. And it just goes round and round. Again and again. Nagato turns into pain. His solution is to collect all the tailed beasts, 9 massive monsters, and create a weapon with insane destructive power. Then, use that weapon to vaporize a major nation. He wants to show the world what true pain feels like. He's gonna make the suffering so massive,
When that boy Pain was out here looking sickly, y'all stressed Pain the fuck out. Y'all really stressed him out because Pain couldn't be no more than like 18, 19, 20 maybe, if that. The man, by the time Pain was through with y'all, Pain looked like he was pushing good 60, 70, 80. Like he was tired and through. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. They
so overwhelming, so undeniable
look tired
that
as hell.
every nation on Earth will be too terrified to even start a war again. At his core, Pain wants peace
at
and safety,
him.
not just
He's
for
going
himself, but for everyone. Every time he tried to believe in peace, to follow the teachings of his master, the world punished him for it. Jiraiya's dream of peace through mutual understanding is beautiful, but it's failed over and over. When Pain invades
That's why they say the nice guy always finishes last. Sometimes it's good to be nice, but sometimes you gotta know when to crank that up. You know what I'm saying? Let them know this ain't it.
the village, he asks Naruto how he would confront this hatred. What would he do differently? How is this fair? And Naruto struggles to come up with an answer because Pain is right. Naruto admits he doesn't have the answers, and he almost gives in to the hatred himself. Honestly, I chose Pain for the video, but Naruto as a series is such a good example of this. A lot of the
Yes.
enemies in the show aren't just villains, they're reflections. They wanted what Naruto wanted, a world without pain. But somewhere along the way, they made one different choice, and that choice turned them into monsters. They chose to act on the truth in a way that turned them into a villain.
Yeah, it's a slippery
There are also
slope.
times when a character refuses to listen to the heroes whatsoever. Stain is known as the hero killer. He exists in the world of My Hero Academia, a society where superpowers called quirks are common. In this world, heroes aren't just people who save others. They're celebrities. They have rankings,
Right.
merch, fan clubs, and sponsors. Being a pro hero is a career. And once upon a time, Stain wanted to become one of those heroes. He was inspired by them and what they represented. But with time, he saw the profession change. He watched heroes start caring more about their rankings than about saving people. He saw them refuse to help because there were no cameras around, prioritize flashy rescues over effective ones because it looked better on TV, and compete with each other for money instead of working together to protect people. He watched heroes he looked up to turn out to be frauds. Heroes who weren't rewarded for being selfless, but for being popular. Heroes who were in it for the wrong reasons. Stain actually believed that heroes should be worthy of the title, that the word hero should mean something, that people...
And he had a point, if we're being honest. And he had a point.
Save others should do it because it's the right thing to do, not because it makes money. And he decides that if the system wouldn't clean itself up, he would do it. He judges each hero.
Now, I don't think he should have went around obviously offing people. That's where it gets like, I know. Like, Stain was around here, you know what I'm saying, putting them boys in the grave. Like, the heroes was getting caught killing people on the side or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what Stain was doing, he was killing these people because, okay, they getting into, you know what I'm saying, they getting too deep into the whole, like, celebrity world of the heroes and the rankings and all of that, right? They being selfish about it now, right? But that don't equate, that don't mix with you should just be killing them because of that. Y'all, come on now, like, that was a little too much. Like I said, he was around there putting them in the grave like they got caught killing people or something. Like,
hero. And if they fail his test, they die. When he faces one of the characters who's there for revenge, Stain nearly slays him. But when he faces Izuku Midoriya, who came purely to save others, Stain spares him. He declares Midoriya worthy to live as a true hero because he showed an innate sense of doing what's right without ever thinking about personal gain. The story doesn't pretend that Stain's critique is wrong. In fact, it shows us that what he pointed out is real. After he gets captured, his ideology spreads. Civilians start questioning the hero system. Some heroes start questioning themselves. There are discussions about what it actually means to be a hero, about whether the system has gotten too focused on celebrity rather than doing what it was supposed to do: help people.
right, because wouldn't that be the whole thing with Endeavor? Endeavor is strong, like, but that boy was so obsessed with All Might because he wanted to be number one. So he wanted to be number one in the eyes of the people, though. So, like, literally, Endeavor was out here. We just did a video on, what was it? The horrible anime dads. And Endeavor, his ass was on the list, okay? The boy was out here, again, being a hero in the streets, but at home, he was a whole ass villain. Excuse my language. He was a whole villain at home. And it was all because he wanted to be the number one hero. He was trying to be All Might. Because, like, was it? I don't think it was even really on some, like, oh, I just want to be better than him. I think it's really that he was more so obsessed with being the number one hero, being seen as the best by everybody else. Like, either way, it's crazy. Like, the boy, that man was obsessed, okay? Straight up hater.
In need.
Certified hater.
On the other hand, there are also cases when the villain changes throughout the story. In the world of Hunter x Hunter, chimera ants are a species that can eat other creatures and inherit their traits. And Meruem is the chimera ant king. He's born at the absolute top of the food chain, a being with such overwhelming power that he has no natural enemies. He's stronger, faster, and smarter than any human. And it shows in how he sees them. For him, humans are nothing more than inferior creatures that are there to be ruled or eaten, just like how humans usually see their own cattle. When Meruem is still a newborn, he gets the opportunity to observe humans for the first time, and he sees evil. He sees them claiming to be superior while simultaneously being cruel. He sees them use weapons, political systems, laws, not to create peace, but wars. But the interesting thing is that Hunter x Hunter doesn't argue against his logic. The series shows us brutal fights, humans who experiment on other humans, nations that wage war for resources and power. The series shows us that humans are capable of terrible evil, and that they often justify that evil as necessary. Meruem's initial plan is where he acts like a...
he's saying it, not me. But where's the lie?
True villain. He wants to basically wipe out the humans he thinks are worthless, which leads to some truly messed up stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the more Meruem grows, the more he asks himself, what does it mean to be king? Sure, he was born to rule, but what does that actually mean? Is it just about power, about domination, or is there something more? At first, his answer was simple. The strong rule. This is how it should work. After all, that's how humans have always done it. But then, he changes. And that change comes from an unexpected source. A blind girl who beats him in a board game. This is the only opponent he can't surpass, and it completely shakes him.
What the hell? How you get beat by a blind person in a board game? I'm like so serious.
Because
That probably didn't happen for real though, somewhere in real life. I'm sure it's definitely possible. You'd be surprised the things that people can do with like different types of disabilities and stuff. That's why they say the sky's the limit.
if strength and power are all that matter, how can this weak, small human have something he doesn't? How can she beat him? Through their games, through their interactions, Meruem starts to realize there are different forms of strength. Fortunately, he's also cut short. Netero, the chairman of the Hunter Association and one of humanity's greatest warriors, straight up warns him. Before unleashing his final attack, he says, "You have no idea, do you? You know nothing of the bottomless malice within the human heart." He's not saying humans are good. He's saying humans are dangerous. And he proves it by detonating a weapon of destruction inside his own body, poisoning Meruem with radiation that will kill him slowly.
Boy, they be talking about how wild animals are dangerous or can be unpredictable. Shit. And humans ain't. Ooh, us as the human species, we kinda scary.
And painful. There's this moment which I think is one of the most powerful scenes in the entire series, where Meruem thinks back on his journey to the palace. He remembers the terrible things he did along the way. The once arrogant king realizes he understood nothing about the value of life, that by reducing everything to just raw power, he's been destroying potential he couldn't even see. That there are forms of worth, forms of strength, forms of value that have nothing to do with physical dominance. He might have been right, but he didn't see that there was value beyond. Meruem's tragedy is that he learns all of that just in time to die. What he lost, or rather, what he never had, was understanding that the weak can have something the strong cannot. And he spends his final moments not raging against humanity, but asking for one thing: to spend his last moments playing with Komugi. At the beginning of the first Pokemon movie, Mewtwo is created in a laboratory. He doesn't understand what he is or why he exists. His mind connects with other artificial creations, including a young girl. She is the daughter of the lead scientist and exists as a memory. In this, dreamlike world, the girl treats Mewtwo gently. She explains simple ideas to him: what it means to be alive, what it means to have a purpose, and what it means to care about others. She becomes Mewtwo's first experience of kindness. The problem is, the clones are unstable. One by one, they begin to fade away. The girl reassures Mewtwo that even if their time is short, being alive, even briefly, it matters. Eventually, she disappears, and he discovers the pain of losing someone as tears trickle down his face for the first time. This movie is supposed to be for little kids, by the way. After waking up from his dream, he is...
Right, for real though. My oldest is, getting into his Pokemon bag, y'all. I mean, he has for a little minute now, but yeah. He got the whole, literally, he has been collecting, like, all the Pokemon cards and stuff, so yeah. He has his little Pokemon bag right now.
Surrounded by scientists. They're celebrating,
interest.
not because they created a living creature, but because they managed to build the most powerful weapon imaginable. Mewtwo's first thought after gaining consciousness is basically, okay, who am I and why do I exist? And the scientists are like, oh yeah, that's easy. You're a weapon and you exist to do whatever we tell you to do. And Mewtwo immediately responds by blowing up the entire lab. Someone else finds him. But unfortunately, it is once again a person who only sees him as a weapon. For those of you who don't know the world of Pokemon, you've got humans running around throwing balls at wild animals and making them fight. Kind of like what they've been trying to do.
Who don't know what Pokemon is? Other than like little kids, like toddlers or something.
To Mewtwo since the second he was born, basically. Mewtwo looks at all of that and goes, yeah. No, he sets up this whole plan where he invites a bunch of Pokemon trainers, including Ash, the protagonist of the entire series. They arrive to an island thinking those are going to be some fun fights, you know? But the second they show up, Mewtwo just wipes the floor with them and steals their Pokemon. His idea is basically to create clones of every single Pokemon there and prove that they are better than the originals. From the beginning, nobody asked Mewtwo if he wanted to exist. He got dragged into life for someone else's plan. He wants to prove that he's better than the world that created him. Mewtwo tries to point out that the entire Pokemon franchise is built on a foundation that's kind of messed up when you actually think about it. The whole world runs on humans having complete dominance over these creatures. I mean, Pokemon Battle...
Right. Literally, they're capturing them just to make them fight each other. You know what I'm saying? For their own little games and stuff.
Are literally just making animals beat the heck out of each other. And not only is this considered normal, it's treated like a good thing. And sure, 100%, Pokemon often choose to follow trainers because they genuinely like them. That doesn't change the fact that the entire structure is built on humans having complete control over Pokemon. I mean, yeah, nobody questions this because it's a kid's show, but I think it's...
Right. As a kid, you damn sure did not question this, like...
really interesting that they made a villain who comes in with fresh eyes because he was literally just born and kind of makes you re-examine the entire premise of the series. Eventually, it comes down to Mew and Mewtwo, the original and the copy. But then, Ash Ketchum, this 10-year-old kid with 0 powers and 0 brain cells, just launches himself between two literal gods to stop them. And he immediately gets turned into stone. Everything stops. Every single Pokemon, the originals, the clones, all of them, just freeze and stare at Ash's body. And then they start crying, all of them, crying together, the same way Mewtwo.
How many of y'all cried on that part? Oh my gosh. Pikachu. Ooh.
When it first woke up and lost the only friend it ever had. And their tears bring Ash back to life. In that moment, Mewtwo's entire worldview changes. He sees his mistakes and understands that it isn't the way you are born that determines who you are, but what you choose to do with your life. What Mewtwo never got, what it was denied from the very beginning, was the chance to experience real connection. Until suddenly, it had undeniable proof that genuine love between Pokemon and humans can exist. The humans aren't all selfish. And yet, when the movie ends, Mewtwo's question still remains. Is this really love?
Okay, but y'all still making them fight though. We ain't gonna, don't be trying to slide now. You ain't slick.
When one side has power. One of my absolute favorite movie villains out there is Tyler from Kung Fu Panda. And when I think about anime, there's an antagonist who actually shares a lot of strong parallels with him. Dabi is a character in My Hero Academia. He's also a member of the League of Villains, an organization dedicated to destroying hero society. He's powerful, ruthless, and seems motivated by pure destruction. His fire quirk burns blue, hotter than normal fire, and he uses it without hesitation to kill heroes. But Dabi also has a secret. His name is Toya Todoroki, the eldest son of Enji Todoroki, the #1 hero, also known as Endeavor. When he was younger, his father was obsessed with beating his rival, All Might. When he realized he couldn't do it himself...
And then what's crazy is he only became the #1 hero after that boy, All Might, was retired from the game. So that's still, for somebody like Endeavor that was so thirsty to beat out All Might, that still is not satisfying for him because you still didn't like really beat him out for the #1 position on your own like merit. It was just because, like I said, All Might, it was time for that boy to pack it up. You know what I'm saying? And retire from the game. It was it. He was done.
He decided to create a kid who could. He entered into a marriage with Rei Todoroki, specifically to have kids with the right combination of his fire and her ice powers. Toya was the first attempt. He had powerful flames, even stronger than his dad's. His body just couldn't handle them, and this made him a failure in Endeavor's eyes. So he abandoned him, told him to give up on training, told him he'd never be a hero, pushed him aside for his other son. But Toya was a kid who'd been raised with one purpose: to beat All Might. That was his entire identity. His entire reason for existing. And when that got taken away, when he was told he was worthless, he didn't know how to stop. So he kept training, desperately, obsessively, trying to prove he was still valuable, trying to get his father's attention back. But then he lost control and his flames consumed him. Everyone believed he had died, except he didn't. He survived, horribly burned and broken, spending years planning his revenge, not just against his father, but against the entire hero society that put his father in the position he was. For years, the public celebrated Endeavor's rise. They cheered when he became the top hero after All Might retired. They bought his merchandise. They praised his strength and determination. But nobody asked about his family. Nobody questioned why his wife was in a hospital. Nobody wondered about the burn on his son's face. Nobody looked behind the hero to see the actual man. Hoya became Dabi. He decided that if the world wouldn't acknowledge his suffering, he'd make them acknowledge it. Dabi's fall, ending up incapacitated and near death after pushing his body way past its limits, isn't shown as some triumph, but as a huge tragedy for the Todoroki family. The story treats it as a failure of his family, of hero society, and of a system that let it happen. But unlike Dabi, there are some series that show you the entire journey, how someone normal turned into a villain. Attack on Titan takes place in
Attack on Titan was good for this. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
This world where humanity is trapped behind massive walls. And outside of these walls, there are giant titans who want to eat all of the humans. For most of his life, Eren thinks that the world is pretty simple. The walls are bad and freedom is somewhere out there. But then the story completely twists everything. Turns out the people living inside the walls are called Eldians, and they are basically the most hated people in history. The rest of the world, led by this nation called Marley, wants them all dead because Eldians have the ability to turn into titans, and that is why they are stuck within these walls. Throughout the story, Eren discovers that the entire world has collectively decided his people need to be destroyed, and every single attempt at a peaceful resolution has crashed spectacularly. He discovers that this cycle of hatred is baked into the system. The world's fear of Eldians isn't just something that can be fixed with a conversation. This is pure hatred, the uncomfortable reality that the hero
I'm about to say something. Say that for another day.
And everyone else keep trying to ignore is that there is no peaceful way out of this. Every single attempt at understanding, compromise gets met with more fight. Eren even watched a titan eat his mother right in front of him when he was just a kid. He watched his friends die. His people were trapped inside a wall their entire lives. From episode 1, the thing that...
Okay, hold on. Obviously, I would have missed this part of the explanation while watching the show. I mean, 'cause I do be forgetting stuff. Like, that ain't deemed super important to my life. Because he said that, okay, everybody inside the wall, right? Okay, I got all that from the show, right? They supposed to be, they're hated and all of that because they could turn into titans, Eldians and all that. But all of them clearly did not turn into titans unless they just didn't know how to, because it was people that had the ability and then they didn't know. So, hold on. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna play.
Defines Eren more than anything else is freedom. All he wants is to see the world, make his own choices, and not be stuck in a cage. Eren starts off as a pretty classic protagonist, fighting to save humanity. But the more he learns about the truth, the more he transforms into something else. He becomes the leader of Paradis military.
That boy was going down that rabbit hole. You gotta be careful.
And eventually he becomes the mastermind behind a horrifying plan, the Rumbling. Eren unleashes literally hundreds of thousands of colossal titans and sends them marching across the entire world to stomp everything. What Eren never got, what the world never gave him, was proof that he was wrong. Every possible path he could see led to the same destination, destruction. But here's the most tragic part of all. Eren becomes exactly what he spent his entire life fighting against. He wanted to save humanity from the Titans, and he became humanity's biggest monster. He wanted to break the cycle of hatred, and instead he perpetuated it on a scale that makes every previous atrocity look like nothing. He is simultaneously the savior of his own people and the literal apocalypse for everyone else. But when Eren finally gets stopped and
okay, so yeah, it says No, not all of the people inside the walls could turn into titans. Only a specific race of people called the subjects of Ymir. Okay, that's what I thought. Possessed the biological ability to transform into titans. Okay, here's a breakdown of who could turn into titans and why. Subjects of Ymir. Every subject of Ymir possesses the necessary biology. I get all that. I understand all that from the show. Connected through the paths by Ymir Fritz to become a titan. This includes the main cast: Eren, Armin, Jean, Connie, etc. And most of the Eldian population inside the walls. Oh, yeah, okay. So most of the Eldian population inside the walls could turn into titans. The royal family, special individuals. Certain members of the royal family or those with the founding titan can command titans or alter the biology of other subjects of Ymir. It's crazy. But yeah, I remember that from the show. Those outside the bloodline, any non-Eldian living within the walls cannot transform into a titan. So, for example, the Ackerman clan, like Levi and Mikasa, are the descendants of an Eldian bloodline artificially engineered to resist the founding titans' memory manipulation and psychological control, meaning they cannot turn into titans. Okay. The wall titans, the tens of millions of colossal like titans that make up the walls, were once living humans. They were either Eldian volunteers or individuals transformed by the 140th king, Karl Fritz, using the founding titan. Okay, yeah, I remember about it. Okay. All right, so we got that out of the way.
Attack on Titan ends, we get a montage. It doesn't show how peaceful the world became after those events. It shows the cycle of hate just continuing over and over and over. In the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, cursed spirits...
That sucks though, because then that means... That sucks though, because then that means that it was people... I'm still stuck on that for a little second. There were people inside the walls who wasn't even like... They couldn't even turn into a titan. Like, they didn't even fall under that. You get what I'm saying? So I'm stuck in here with y'all motherfuckers, and I belong on the outside. I'm stuck in here with the titans, with the titan transforming motherfuckers. But how did I get here? You not mad I would be? Get me out of here. I don't belong here.
Are monsters born from human negative emotions. And Jujutsu sorcerers are a tiny group of people with the ability to see curses and get rid of them. And Geto is one of these sorcerers. One day, he and his best friend are assigned to protect a girl called Riko Amanai, a girl chosen to sacrifice herself in order to maintain balance in the world. But over time, what begins as a mission turns into something much darker. They start to see her not just as a vessel, but as a normal girl who laughs, argues, and actually wants to live her life. At the last possible moment, Riko Amanai makes a choice. Instead of accepting her fate, she decides she wants to keep living, to stay with Geto. And then, without warning, she's shot by a man hired by a group of...
That's gonna turn anybody into a villain. I told you, I'm still rewatching it. I didn't left off on episode, I think 7, 8, 9, one of them. I don't know. It's in my phone somewhere. But look, crazy.
Humans who didn't want her ritual to be complete. Geto even sees these people celebrating. After that, he goes on more missions, sees his comrades perish, get separated from his best friend. All that to protect people who ultimately don't care about him. He gets sent to rescue 2 young sorcerer kids from a village, only to find the villagers hurting them for powers they never asked for. The flaw Geto exposes is that sorcerers are expected to die for people that not only create the problem, but also fear and resent the people protecting them.
Even like them.
The world never addresses the root, ordinary human negativity. The system is unfair. Geto starts to question what he should do, where his life is going, how he can get rid of curses for good, until he talks with Yuki Tsukomo, another sorcerer. She presents 2 solutions to the problem. Number 1, teach all humans to control cursed energy so curses stop appearing. Number 2, eliminate all humans so that the source of curses disappears. And that's when...
That motherfucker said number 2. Let me be quiet, because I'm not trying to wake my family up. When she got to number 2, his eyes lit up like, you know what? Number 1 sounded like a little bit too much work. We gonna go with number 2.
Everything spiraled. For Gato, who's already emotionally unstable and resentful, the second idea takes hold. He decides that the only way to end the curse cycle is to wipe out all non-sorcerers. He becomes the leader of a movement to annihilate them, orchestrating an attack designed to kill as many non-sorcerers as possible and declare war on the Jujutsu world. Gato starts out as a compassionate man, genuinely wanting to help people out, but repeated betrayals by society, by the people he saves, by the system that breaks him. Gato's best friend is the one who ends up stopping him. Their final confrontation is full of regret and sadness. Gojo understands how Gato ended up here, and he wishes he could have saved him, but he just cannot let him go down this path. Gato is shown as a fallen hero. He's this tragic mirror to the heroes. He saw the same problem they saw, went through the same stuff, but came to a different conclusion. And that conclusion led him down a path where he became the very thing he used to fight against.
Hey, this is a good video. Real quick, again, I saw somewhere that they said Gojo died, y'all. And they better be motherfucking lying. They better be 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 lying. Ain't no way. Ain't no way y'all kill Gojo. There's just ain't no way. Like, are you crazy? Are y'all insane? Are you crazy? The show gotta be over. Obviously, it's just at that point. This is obviously over at that point. Like, stressing me the fuck out. Anyways, this was a good video. I actually enjoy watching this. I enjoy watching, you know what I'm saying, pretty much any of the videos that I come up here and watch with y'all because I think they look interesting, right? And I sit down and watch them with y'all for the first time. But anyways, what this showed us too as well is that people definitely can be a product of their environment, right? You put somebody in an environment like that, of course, there's a high chance they're going to come out a monster, okay? And then there's a chance that they may come out still come out a decent, good person. I feel like that's like slimmer though. Like, you put somebody in these situations, like let's just take real life for example, right? It's like kids that grow up in like the hood, I guess you could say, right? Like areas where it's just like poor, impoverished areas and stuff like that, right? They, a lot of times, typically carry on those. They become a product of their environment. Basically, they keep this going. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. It really, really is. And the only difference between that is it's just literally based off of the person. It's a person by person case, right? So you have some people, like I said, based off of who they are as an individual and how they think and their outlook and stuff. Some people can be able to maneuver through that and still come out a good, decent human being or whatever. And then a lot of them they get lost in the sauce and be on straight villain mode. But that's gonna be it for today, you guys. And don't forget, we kicking it over here Monday through Friday. Every day I'm hustling, you know what I'm saying? I'm recording all the videos within like one day or two. But we still kicking it. Okay? Anyways, for specific topics, you guys, check that in the description below. And yeah, y'all have a good night and a good day. By the time y'all see this, obviously it's going to be next Monday. But look, tomorrow, I am going to be doing a live with y'all. Tomorrow of the 17th. So the 18th. That don't even matter. Whatever. Bye, y'all.